I did have a call with my sister the other day who tuned me in on a news piece that just sucked like all of the beauty out of the moment and just brought me crashing down to what is wrong with people. This next news story, I think, encapsulates everything that's still wrong with the world that we live in. Take a look at this.
The biggest wildlife vaccination program ever attempted.
It's the largest vaccination of wild birds against bird flu in the world.
Victoria's bird flu outbreak has escalated. The deadly virus infiltrating our little penguin population after a penguin tested positive.
Our precious penguins have been under threat from the deadly bird flu, and today our worst fears were realised.
The penguin was dead. The single penguin was dead.
More than 5,000 little penguins from Victoria will receive their first of 2 bird flu vaccinations today.
Vaccinating more than 5,000 little penguins, and not only that, but giving them a second shot, so it's a process that's going to take several weeks.
Wildlife officers taking penguins out of their burrows. They get injections, their details are recorded, and they're also microchipped.
We're hopeful that the vaccine can work. Of course, this is still uncharted territory, and there are still lots of complexities and risks involved.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to punch the television screen when I see that. And my phone's got like cracks. Like, no, God, leave nature alone. Just leave the little penguins alone, for God's sakes. Let's just read the article about this so you have a few of the details. More than 5,000 little penguins will be vaxxed against bird flu. How will this protect them? It goes on to say the colonies at Phillip Island and St. Kilda are home to around 40,000 penguins because large numbers of birds live close together and the virus is highly infectious. Bird flu poses a significant threat. It goes on to say that little penguins are already under pressure from invasive predators such as cats and foxes and doctors in blue smocks, artificial light roads, and overfishing. Capturing wildlife to vaccinate them is difficult, particularly because the bird flu vaccination requires them to be caught twice, at least for now. Probably end up being 10 doses because the vaccine sucks. However, little penguins are flightless, live in colonies and return tonight to the same burrow, making them easier to capture and vaccinate. I don't know where to get started on this, and I don't want to take up the entire day, but let me just say this. First of all, this is just as stupid as human vaccines or a COVID vaccine program for human beings, but isn't there something about these innocent little animals that somehow it's just even worse? It makes me think about that old margarine commercial, like never mess with Mother Nature and the lightning bolt goes off. What could possibly go wrong? First of all, let's point out this stupid story. One of the 40,000 penguins in Australia was found dead. And after an investigation, they found out that it was testing positive for COVID vaccine. Now, just like in human beings during COVID, we have no idea how this penguin died. We don't know that it died of COVID. We just know that it died with COVID. For all we know, this penguin died in a motorcycle accident. But nobody reported that. We just go ahead and assume that it died from, H5N1, the bird flu. And so now we got to vaccinate them all. I love the guy at the end. Like, we don't really know how well it's going to go. This is a bit of an experiment. There's a lot of technicalities here we don't know anything about, so we might just end up wiping 40,000 birds off the face of the planet over time. But what I want to point to is this just shows how far away from nature we've become, how far away from God we have found ourselves, because apparently now every medical professional in the world has forgotten one simple fact. We, human beings, and every animal on this earth was actually born with an immune system. And the reason penguins are still on the island of Australia is because there's never been a virus that swept through and wiped them all off the island. There's plenty of them, 40,000. Other things like bothering them at night in lab coats and city lights has been reducing the population, but not viruses. And what is it? Why do they need to be vaccinated? So this is where we're getting to. We're getting to a place where people and generations of kids in college now are under the assumption the only way you get immunity is through vaccination. Actually, the only way you destroy real immunity is through vaccination. The reason all those penguins are there is because they've been catching bird flu forever. They're evolving with the bird flu. You really want to mess with this system, mess with the immunity that they have. Yes, they're going to have to catch the current bird flu to be up to date. But vaccines don't do that. Vaccines are flawed by the nature that you have to get two of them. Guess what you don't have to get two of? They don't have to catch it twice. Once they catch it once, they develop immunity. They have that immunity for a very long time until there's some evolution, and then it's just a little bump up to the next version. And as we're all panicking about bird flu jumping from animals over to people, well, why don't we just keep doing studies in labs with flu and bird flu and see if we can make it jump into people, because how could that possibly go wrong? But also is this, what they're doing here. Most vaccines are leaky vaccines. We're seeing that more and more. In fact, we don't even know how many kids are actually catching measles, but are just asymptomatic because of the measles vaccine. So we don't even know if we've eradicated anything at all. We don't know if we're creating immunity. We do know we have lost the herd immunity we used to have when grandma and grandpa caught measles once and are going to die immune to measles. That was herd immunity. Now we're on like 5 booster shots for measles and every other stupid vaccine we give people. But now we're going to go into wildlife. Now we're going to start messing with the wildlife and making sure that they have the same inferior, pathetic immunity that is pushed into you by the pharmaceutical industry, not the lifelong, powerful immunity that's kept all beings alive until now. And what could possibly go wrong? Well, maybe if you vaccinate animals with a vaccine that only stops symptomatic transmission, symptoms and not transmission, that they still catch the disease like most of our vaccines, then we could find ourselves in a situation where, just like COVID, we are turning all the animals in the world into gain-of-function laboratories, where viruses are continuing and bacteria are being forced under pressure, but a non-sterilizing immunity to ramp up and mutate inside of these animals. All while we're standing around worried about it, we may be creating the deadly pathogen and creating hosts that can no longer block us from it because we blocked the immunity they had to protect us. That's where I think this is all going. It's just one of myriad different ways really smart people are, cliff jumping with all of us strapped to their backs. So I don't know when this stupidity is going to end. All I know is we have a lot of work.